Hello and welcome to Transplants Take On Sport. My name's Lewis Daniels and joining me today is kidney transplant recipient and England and Wales Transplant Cricket Club batsman Lee Dyer. We'll be talking about Lee's experience of having a kidney transplant, interesting stories from his time playing cricket so far, and quite an unusual round of golf. Lee speaks very well about the importance of talking to others about any problems you might have, so please listen all the way through. As always, if you're enjoying the podcast, please make sure you subscribe or follow wherever you normally listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to follow Transplants Take On Sport on social media, all the information will be in the show notes. Lee Dyer, welcome to Transplants Take On Sport. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. You all right?
Very good, thank you. Yeah. Now this will be going out in 2021. We're recording this in December 2020. 2020 has been a bit of a strange year, especially for people like us. As I've said on, I think, every other episode we've done. It's been really a year of on and off lockdown from the start. So Lee, how have you found this for 2020?
Yeah, hard. Really hard. First lockdown was horrendous. So I was home for 20 weeks, probably about the same as everybody else.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I went back to work the 10th of August. The second lockdown, I went into a new job when I went back, and I realised I'm actually on my own all day. I'm outside and I can avoid the world to a degree. I just carried on through it this time for the month.
So you found work useful since going back in terms of dealing with what's going on?
Massive release. Huge release.
So the reason that you've spent so long inside, the reason that I've spent so long inside, is you are a kidney transplant recipient. So We'll go right back to the start. When did you first find out you had kidney problems?
So they think I've had it since before I was born, or not long after I was born. We found it when I was about 18 or 19, and they thought that I had blockage in there somewhere. Went in to have an operation, have kidneys flushed, and turned out that one of them never grew because they think I have reflux. They're like 99% sure I have reflux. They basically couldn't do that operation and then went on to the list eventually.
So when was it you went onto the list?
So I was on there for about 2 years, so it'd have been around 2011, 2012, something like that. I can't remember exactly.
So you were on the list for 2 years and then you eventually got the call for your transplant. When was that?
Yeah, that was 2014, June, I think. Never remember.
What was it like to get the call? How did that feel?
Oh, surreal. It was the early hours of the morning as well. It was really weird. It was like, it must have been about 5:30 in the morning. I say early hours. It was about 5:30 in the morning. And I nearly went away and nearly went abroad the day before as well. And I don't know why, I just didn't go. And the phone call came through and it was just like, all right, I'll have to get my mum to come and pick me up and bring me to the hospital. And I was thinking it was like, I was so confused. I was thinking it was like midday or something, thinking she was at work. And it's like, oh, she works early. What does she do? I was like, she's in school. She's like, do you know what time it is? I was like, I haven't got a clue. So yeah, it was very surreal. It was a long day as well. So I got called in the day before, about 8:30 in the morning. I went in, and then I didn't actually have the off until 1:00 the following morning. So it was a long day.
Is a call saying you got a kidney at 5:30 in the morning something far better to wake up to than an alarm clock?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Straight out
Unusual
of bed.
one, but yeah, and literally up and out, basically.
So then on, you went in that day. You had your kidney. You had your new kidney put in.
Mm-hmm.
Did that all go smoothly?
The operation, yeah, fine. Yeah, they put me to sleep essentially. I think it was 1:00 in the morning, and it was really bizarre because all I wanted to know was what time I woke up, and I just happened to wake up facing the clock. So I was under for about 3 hours. Woke up about 4:00, intensive care for a couple of hours, and then back up onto the ward. And then
So that
slept.
sounds fairly smooth, all things considered.
Yeah.
Can you remember what just come to me now? Can you remember anything that you said when you first came round from surgery?
Not when I first came round, but so I went back on the ward. I got a porter whacking me. Do you want some breakfast? Like, I want you to go away, leave me alone. So yeah, I tried to have some breakfast. My mouth was so dry, I couldn't like eat anything. And a couple of hours later, one of the doctors or consultants, I'm not sure who, I can't remember now, came around to see me, and they were saying, "Oh, do you want your mum or dad to bring you anything in?" Or I was like, "Oh yeah, can you get them to bring some like wet fruit, like soft fruit, strawberries, grapes, things like that?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah."
Yeah,
Anything else? I was like, "Yeah, get them to take loads of pictures of me." I don't remember any of it. I was a crazy guy. I was gone. It was weird.
it is a strange feeling afterwards. I can remember I was in the recovery room, very much on and off asleep, eyes opening and
Mm.
closing, not really knowing where I was. But just every time I opened my eyes and a doctor appeared, just going, "Is it working? Is it working yet?" And then uh, it was obviously they'd say, "Oh, it's quite early. We don't know." But so far, it is doing what you'd think it would be doing. And then similar to you, back on the ward, or take a picture so I can let everyone know that it's all right.
Yeah, I don't know why I said it though. It was really weird. I have no idea why. It was only what they were telling me later in the week. I think it's my parents told me later in the week. It's like, yeah, you want them to take pictures. You want us to take pictures. Like, really? And I hate having my picture taken. Can't stand it. So it was really strange.
So before the transplant, did you have to go on dialysis for a bit?
No, I didn't. I was quite lucky in that sense.
I
Um,
was to say.
yeah, really lucky.
So you just managed to last right up until the call on enough
My
function?
function, yeah, my function was still 12 GFR. So I was okay to be fair. And because my decline was so slow, I didn't actually kind of realize how ill I was. And yeah, it just made it a lot easier, I suppose.
Yeah, for anyone wondering, GFR or EGFR, I think stands for estimated glomerular filtration rate, which is basically how much blood I think it's measured in milliliters per minute, and it's how much blood your kidney filters. I hope I'm saying that right. If not, Google does its job, but basically it almost translates to percentage kidney function.
Yeah.
I know we've mentioned it before on a previous episode, and I didn't clarify what it was, so hopefully that clears anything up. And the reason, Lee, that I've got you on, you're a transplant recipient, and this is a Transplant Take On Sport. It's a sports-based podcast. So, what were the sports that you were playing before your transplant?
Years ago, I was playing football. Not to any great standard. I mean, I could barely get up and down the pitch. I was so tired all the time, just exhaustion so quickly. Um, I played cricket since I was, I don't know, 11 maybe, and just yeah, I played a bit of golf. I still play golf now. I've played one game of football since, but yeah, those are the main three really.
Did you manage to play right up until your transplant, with you still having a little bit of function left?
Not football, I didn't. I stopped playing football long before, long time before. Cricket, I did. Cricket, I was like due to play the Saturday, and then had to call on the Friday morning to go in. So yeah, I
You
played.
seem quite similar.
Mm,
I think I stopped football I think it was about 6 months before, not being able to run up and down, and cricket I think was about 8 days before. So was that a motivation to keep going? You wanted to do it? Because my thinking was always, I want to do this while I know I definitely still can.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. Cricket, I find it a lot easier because I'm quite lazy when it comes to moving, so I just tend to swing. Whereas
Well,
football's obviously a lot more mobile. Golf's all right because you just got to walk around. It's not too heavy on the body. But yeah.
we'll start with football then, as that's the one you sort of stopped first, if you like.
Hmm.
Um, so you said you played occasionally. Was that full 11 aside, five aside?
Yeah, a bit of both. So we played Pro 5 near where I live. I also played Saturday League. I played Sunday League. Not at the same time. It was at different times. But yeah, just took its toll. I just couldn't do it anymore, and I was like, right, that's enough.
So have you played much after? I know there is transplant football
I've not played,
around, but
yeah, not played transplant football. I've played one game so my old cricket club have a Sunday football team. They kind of, it's a mix of cricket lads and some football lads. And yeah, I played. They were short, and they just asked me if I'd help them out for a weekend. So I went and played all right. But it's again, I said to them, play me somewhere I ain't got to run, and I'm left footed. Yeah, all right, yeah, yeah. they started me right wing back. It's like, cheers then, thanks very much.
Just
So,
bringing it back inside all the time.
oh, I couldn't breathe. It was hateful. But we got rolling sub. We had rolling subs in that division, so I was like 20 minutes to get me off. Came back on, he put me left wing back, so crying out loud. But I ended up playing centre back, and it was all right. So I didn't have to run anywhere.
So, if you had your transplant at that point, was it sort of mentally a challenge playing? Were you concerned about getting knocked on that side?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, really. So I spoke to my consultant about it a few times, and I said, like, can I go back to playing football? I really want to do it, but I can't. I just can't get my fitness levels up to do it. And with, how it goes, you put a little bit of weight on, don't you? And so yeah, bit of a lump now. But yeah, I spoke to her about it, and she said, yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. And I was just so like, I don't know, quite nervous about it, and just thought, do you know what, is it really worth it? I played that one game, and it was all right, but it's not something I was overly comfortable with. I was quite conscious. So every time, like on the half turn or whatever, I'm turning my left side away from anybody running at me. So I was really conscious of it all the time.
Would you ever consider going into the transplant football teams?
Yeah, I'd have a think about it. I know they've got it. It's just it took me a long time to get into the cricket, so I just got to find out who to speak to. I've spoken to them about the transplant games, which was meant to happen this year, was it, or next year? I can't remember when it is. But obviously that's all been put off now. So yeah, hopefully I can speak to somebody and find out about it.
As you mentioned, the transplant games, we'll come on to that. Have you done it before?
No, I've never been. Never
No.
ever been. Everybody tells me, yeah, come up. Even if you just come and watch, it's like, yeah, all right. Yeah, I've never done it. I really need to.
So you got plans to do it. Next year's in Leeds. Hopefully it'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Have you got any idea of what sports or events you might want to do if you do go?
Oh, do you know? I don't even know what they do. To be honest with you, I've not done too much research into it. I've got a contact for the Bristol area, which is good. And she sends me stuff all the time. But yeah, it's just a case of finding out what there is. Apparently, there's a ball throwing thing. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. That kind of suits me a little bit if my shoulder will last. But yeah, I haven't really thought too much about it, to be honest, because obviously it's not till next year. I've not had to think too much.
Yeah, I suppose we hope it's going to go ahead, but we don't know at the moment. It's still December 2020.
Yeah.
So we'll go to cricket, which is that your main sport?
Yeah, always has been, to be fair.
So what's your role within the team?
Dirty slogger. Yeah, I keep wicket sometimes for my club. I bat usually 4, 5, 6, and just look at the situation, I suppose, and still swing from the hip and hope it comes off. But
Clear the front leg and swing.
yeah,
Sort of
pretty much.
action.
But again, it comes back to the fact that I can't keep running and running and running. So if I can do it, if I can hit it out of the ground, then why not? It's less effort, less energy being used.
Has it worked? What you sort of any big performances over the years?
Yeah, I hit 100. I used to be a bowler. I used to be a seam bowler. And we played a Sunday game, and I really couldn't be bothered to bowl. And I said, "Oh, let me up in a band." Yeah, all right then. I hit 100 in that. I've got a good little story. I hit a 90 something last year, 92 I think it was. I got to 50, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well bad. Oh yeah, great." We're getting absolutely slaughtered, and they I hit a few sixes and fours and didn't really run a lot, as you can imagine. And they started clapping for 100, and I was like, it didn't feel. I mean, my head was in the game. It was the day before Ben Stokes hit the Headingley runs, and I was in kind of a similar situation. Had to bat through and blah blah blah. I got out, and they clapped me for 100. I got out and was like, great, we've lost the game. So I wasn't really interested in a personal performance. Went back in, and this lad comes in the change room a bit sheepish, and he's like, I hate to tell you this, and I'm really sorry, but you only got 92, it wasn't 100. And I was like,
Oh,
I don't care, I'm not that bothered. But I was curious as to how he miscounted by 8 runs. And
it's quite a lot.
yeah, well, I faced 70 something balls, 76 balls, 74 balls, I can't remember now, 70 something balls. And he said the scorer puts a pencil mark, like a line for for every 10 balls, and it's like, okay, so 92 plus 7 is 99, so you're still short. So yeah, that was quite an entertaining one. But Yeah, I hit a 90 the year before as well. I hit quite a few runs the year before. I hit a few last year, but the year before I hit quite a lot of runs. I had a good
Has it been
year.
going well? Fairly well recently, you could say.
Yeah, last couple of years or so. I mean, since Transplant, batting wise, I mean, I can see the ball again. I can concentrate on what's coming towards me, however fast it's coming. So it's made it a lot easier, definitely. The only thing I struggle with a little bit is, again, going back to the football bit, is being conscious when I'm in the field and diving around. I've had to teach myself, and I expect everybody else is the same, to, like, if I'm diving for a ball, to roll rather than slide forwards and slide on my front. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
Did that take long to learn the different diving? Because I've been wondering about that. I've not actually played since my transplant with all the pandemic that's been going on.
I started off by diving on my side, and I found it hurt a lot. So I've I've just kind of gone with an attitude. If I'm not going to get there, I'm not going to go flat out and dive for it, because I'm going to hurt myself and I'm potentially damage a kidney. So if I can't reach it within a rolling, if where it's safe for me to roll, then I won't. I won't even go at it too hard. It'll just be gone. That's it. There's nothing I can do about it. But yeah, I just taught myself to do it. It didn't take long, because it's there. It's always in the back of your mind, I think.
Yeah,
So yeah, it
definitely.
doesn't take long to learn not to like dive on your front.
At first, was it difficult not to throw yourself around? Because I know when I field, it is, if you see the ball coming down your side, instinct says sort of throw yourself, get your arm there, a bit like a goalkeeper in a way.
Yeah.
But it's knowing now. I now realise with a few fielding drills I've done, knowing that the kidney's there, it's a bit tentative when you're trying to move from side to side
Mm.
quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's You see it kind of react, and then to begin with, you see it react and either regret it or stop yourself. Um, as I say, now I've learned to roll with it. It's not too bad. Going to my right, I'm fine, because I can land a little bit heavier on my right side. Because obviously, kidneys on the left, so I can land a bit heavier on that side, and it's not too bad. But going to my left is quite just you just got to stop and think. Not stop and think, obviously, but you just got to be conscious that it's there. And because of what you've been through with it, I find that I just don't ever forget. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's always at the back of your mind, but then it quickly comes to the front
Yeah,
whenever you're in that
exactly.
situation.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody my size going down on that's going to do some damage as well. So.
Speaking of being cautious of the kidney, are you one to wear extra protection when you're batting?
I did. I used to. Yeah. So I had made. It was like two back supports. Do you know, like they're like elasticated with like a rubber inside and a fabric outside. I can't really explain it any better
I
than
think
that.
so.
Though. So I had two of those. Stitched one onto the other, and then wrapped it round, cut the excess off. Well, I say I did it. My mum did it. Velcro on, and then with the bit that was cut off, put a little pouch on the front, and I had an old arm guard or something, I think it was. Just slotted it into the front. But it just got so uncomfortable. It kept riding up, and it just got so uncomfortable. I tried to use a boxer's abdo guard. I don't know if you've ever seen those.
I tried it myself.
That's really uncomfortable as well. You can't
Yeah.
like bend over, and it's like, oh, you can't move and you can't breathe. So yeah, I just gave out of it. I thought, do you know what? If I think I'm going to get hit, I'm just going to turn my back and just take it, in the other side. Because I'm left-handed anyway, so I can turn and just take the hit elsewhere.
So is yours on your
Kidneys on my
the
left.
on the back nearer the stumps?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm the same. Right-handed. Mine's on
yeah,
the right side. So yeah.
yeah,
So I suppose back yourself to hit it.
yeah. I have to. That's the advantage of getting the front leg out of the way as well. Everything else goes with it, and you just got your bat and your arms left there.
Was it difficult to go from wearing the abdo guard? Was that the one you wore last?
I can't remember. No, the one that was made I wore last. I didn't wear the big one in any games. I used it in the nets. I used it like 3 times and just couldn't get on with it. And it was quite difficult to get your head around. You've got to hit this, or you've got to get hit somewhere else. So yeah, I did have a little bit of a close one. I was keeping wicket for my sister's other half's team, this year. I played a couple of games, and I stood up, funnily enough, to him as well. Stood up, and this guy's on a massive swing. I've missed, and it's hit me just above, and I was like, wow, that was close. Nice bruise and all sorts. But yeah, it's like I think I'm a lot more comfortable now with it, and I'm a lot more aware and everything. So it just makes it easier. But yeah, going back to the point, it was losing the abdo guard, or the thing that was made. It was really hard to begin with, just to get your head around. Don't get hit, don't get hit, don't get hit, and that's all that's going through your mind. Once you can get that out of your head, you kind of become a bit more free again, and you can start batting as you would.
Yeah, I think from experience, it does get. I still wear a chest guard on it. It does. You do get more confident. Like I've downsized from the abdo guard to the chest guard just to move more. And for anyone, any non-cricket fans listening, the story Lee was telling about standing up to the stumps and nearly getting hit. To put that into context, you're probably about 2 feet away from the batsman,
Yeah, if that.
and you just react. You're thinking he's going to hit it, and then reacting to that. And if it's coming, it's probably is he a quick bowler?
Medium pacer. Just when them heavy bowlers, it's pitch a little bit. Yeah, just awkward.
Bouncing through, and you're maybe, as I said, 2 feet away from it, and then you think it's going to be hit. It's not been hit, and it's coming straight through. That's the sort of position you're in, and that reaction time it's not a lot.
The worst bit about it was it went straight through the batter, between bat pads, everything, and went over the top of the stumps as well. And I'm tall, so I just had no chance. I just didn't see it at all. You try and preempt where it's going to be, and you're taking that gamble that he's going to miss it every time. That's what you got to keep in your head. And it was like, I don't know, I just didn't see it. Just missed it completely.
Speaking of cricket equipment, cricket protection, opportunity to tell the listeners about. For this 2021 season, I've been kindly sponsored as a coaching ambassador by Neon Cricket. I've got to stress this is not a show sponsor; it's a personal sponsor. If anyone would like any cricket gear, they're giving me a discount code for you all to use. So if you go to neoncricket.co.uk and use Lewis D25 at the checkout, you'll get 25% off.
I can vouch for their kit because I was sponsored by them for this season, and obviously didn't play. But yeah, their bats are amazing. Their whole kit range is amazing. It's phenomenal.
There we go. Seal of approval.
Yeah, massive. I've got everything. It's just the kit. All the pads are lightweight. The gloves are really comfy. The bats pick up beautifully. Amazing range.
There we go. You've heard it from someone who's used it. Lee Dyer of England and Wales Transplant Cricket Club, which we'll come on to now. When did you get involved with that team?
So I made inquiries for a while. Probably, I don't know, 5 years ago. I heard nothing back for ages, but I knew there was a bit of change going on. And then eventually I heard back in 2016, and I was due to play. I'd broken my hand, kind of lost my temper a little bit, and when I got out in a 2020 game, that was funnily enough my sister's boyfriend as well. I was playing against. Anyway, yeah. So I had my cast off, and I was due to play 2 days later, I think it was, for what was then Great Britain Transplant Cricket. And I couldn't move my hand still; it was so stiff, so I didn't play. So I started the following year. I made my debut against Australia, which was entertaining, to say the least.
How did that feel? Sort of a surreal feeling.
It was strange, yeah. And I don't know. I guess they're kind of, what you hear about them is quite true. Is on the pitch they really lay in. I mean, they left me alone because Fairbrass was batting at the other end and he had it all. But off the pitch, they were the nicest bunch of blokes you could talk to. It was really good, really nice.
It must be a great occasion to be involved in England versus Australia transplant cricket.
Yeah,
Because to get, as I've said before on this, everyone's been through the same thing. You're all interested in the same sport, so you can all support each other. You all know what's going on
yeah,
in each other's lives.
yeah, definitely. And that's what I love about it. You play at club level and people just don't quite get it. They understand that you've not been well, and it's the classic. They think you're fixed when you're not. It's temporary and blah blah blah. And So being able to play with you guys, from my point of view, it's really really good, and you can sit there and you can have one-to-one conversation with somebody if it's something that you know is going to directly relate to them, or if we have group discussion, all sorts. It's so nice to have that, and again, it's like a release. It's really good.
I agree. I mean, I've probably said this a few times by now, but I haven't played a game yet. I've been to a couple of training sessions. I haven't played because of the coronavirus pandemic, but it is such a good group to be involved in.
Oh yeah. The other thing about it as well is that we're just all normal-ish people, and as much as we have that transplant talk and everything else, we still talk about all the other nonsense that goes on in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good in that respect as well.
Have you found that a really important part of being involved in the team, the sort of social aspect? And 'cause with cricket, you spend a lot of time with your team on the sidelines watching other people bat.
Yeah, definitely. It's the camaraderie in there, and then you're there all day with one another. And I know people's families come along, and some people sit with their family, but the majority, I think, I can probably say, in fact, I don't think anybody really does. I think we all tend to kind of clump together, and then we'll just, as we're wandering around, stop and talk to everybody who's come out. So yeah, yeah, we're just like one family, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that fits. I can't wait to get involved more.
Oh, mate, you're gonna love it. It's awesome. Honestly, it's so good.
You mentioned playing for clubs. We've been in touch this week about the different clubs you've played for. You played for quite a lot of clubs.
Yeah. So my first club was Hambrook, which is obviously in Bristol. I left there. When would it have been? About 2008, I think it was. I went to Church for a couple of years. Enjoyed it, but it wasn't home. So I went back, played a bit of third team for a few games, and then I didn't. I only played about 6 games, 5 or 6 games that season, and then I had to work weekends. The following year, I went straight back into the first team. Then resolved the differences that I had with people, and yeah, I had a good few years in there. I was first team captain for 3 years as well. I had a lot of success. One big disappointment. So, and then yeah, last season I left there with about 7 or 8 games left, something like that. Just fell out with them completely. It's a massive uproar. So yeah, left, went to Almondsbury, and yeah, love it there.
First team captain must be a decent standard, and you've played for a lot of different clubs. How have you found settling into different ones quickly?
Yeah, Parker Church I struggled a little bit. Um, Not sure why. I think there was 4 or 5 blokes that were a lot older than me. I mean, I was in my mid 20s then, early mid 20s. There was 4 or 5 guys that were older than me, and then there was the kids that were a lot younger than me. And I was just in that middle age. I didn't have anybody my age. I had no real mates there as such. And the ones that I knew who were my age were in the second team. So I didn't get on so well there. It's not to say it's not a bad club at all. It's a really really nice club, and I enjoyed it there. But it just didn't work out right. Um, but Almondsbury, yeah, I love it. Almondsbury is brilliant. Settled in so quickly, so quickly. They make you feel really welcome. They get you involved with everything. You got such a wide range of ages and everything else, and they do different things after the games every week. There's good socials every week after games. You like play pool. I mean, they had do you know little buckets that you use for cutlery in restaurants and stuff? They had a load of
Yeah,
those on the outfield with golf clubs out, and they're doing pitching it into the buckets and stuff like that. And it was like, it was so good. I mean, the guy who owns the bar plays. He was a first team captain. And he said, "Oh, get on the bucket. You can have a pint, 3 pints." Like, yeah, so everybody's having a go. So yeah, they do loads of different things, so it gets you involved a lot quicker.
it sounds like a good atmosphere to be involved in.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and it is just it's quite a big drinking culture as well, which is always nice.
I think, something you alluded to there, I think you do fine with cricket, with it being maybe football. You'd say is probably this country's national sport, and you maybe get less people playing cricket. I think you do find that once you get into the adult teams, especially, there's not that many people that are in or that were in the same school year. The
Mm.
ages are quite spread out. I mean, I've only played for one club, but is that the same for you?
Yeah, I had so there was 4, maybe 6 of us that played youth cricket together. That were all the same age, and we drag. There was younger players dragged up from the younger age groups. 3 of them stopped playing. No, 2 of them stopped playing. Sorry. One of them plays very sporadically, but there was 3 of us that all played, just kept playing through and through and through. And yeah, so that was nice to have that. And because we had the younger players being fed in as well, we got to know them a lot better. So yeah, that made it a lot easier. That helped a lot. As I say, we had quite a lot of success when I was captain, and that really helped, having that, knowing everybody knew everybody.
Yeah. Did it feel sort of special, almost better to be successful as a captain?
Yeah, it makes life easy. So, the year I had my transplant, 2014, I played a second or third team game just to see how it went. Because I had it sort of early summer, and it was okay. Then I played, it was a third team game. Then I played a second team game. Yes, fine. And then the last game of the season, I went back into the first team. We had to win to stay up. Top scored, won the game by whatever I scored, 30. So it wasn't many, it's 30 something. So we stayed up, and then I was actually vice captain that year. And the first team captain was standing down. He said, "I'll back you to go up as captain." Blah blah blah. So I went forward as captain, and it was just a massive turnaround. We won the league. We lost. I think it was the first game and the third game, and we won every other game that season, and we won the cup. Year after, we got promoted again, so we've gone up 2 divisions. We set up like a 3-year plan was to get promoted once, and we did it straight away. Then that 3-year plan started again, and we did that again straight away. And it's like, well, what do we do now? And we kind of lost a little bit of focus, and we came crashing back down. And the club have struggled since. I think they've been relegated 4 times on the trot now. So it's been quite a hard time for the club.
We'll move on to your golf. Is that the most recent sport you got involved in?
Yeah, it's just me and a mate. He said to me, "Oh, I went out and played a few times." I mean, I played when I was working for a company, and they said, "Oh, we're having a golf day." I was like, "Yeah, great." He said, "Come along." I was like, "Oh, all right then." Never played before. And I went along, and I had to scrounge around for clubs. And my housemate I was living with at the time was like, "You borrow mine?" I was like, "Yeah, brilliant. Right-handed golf clubs, fantastic." So I think I went round at about 150, but enjoyed the social aspect of it. So yeah, that was a few years later. Then I thought, do you know what? Let's go get a set of clubs, just like £50 set in case I don't like it. Went out, had a few rounds, and then went with my mate, and he said, "Look, this is what you're doing wrong. Keep your head down. Do this, do this, do." And all of a sudden, it all came together. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm a great golfer at all, and I haven't played for 2 or 3 years now, but I really enjoy it. And it's, to be fair, something I need to go back to doing. But yeah.
Did he play competitively when he did play, or just more
Golf?
socially?
No, never. It was only competitive when my brother was involved. Just have some banter.
So you said you like the social aspect. Is it relaxing, sort of being out in the fresh air and walking around? You get along walking there as well.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we usually play a par 3 course that's nearby, but it is the getting out in the air, and just, if there's problems in your life or whatever, I mean, me and my mate, we talk to each other about everything. And if there's something going on in life, we talk to each other, and that's a golden opportunity to be able to do that. You've got a relaxed round. There's no competition involved or anything like that. So yeah, it's just literally to get out and just get some air in the lungs, get some miles in the legs, things like that.
I've never got into it. I've tried a 3-club challenge once, but it does seem like a sport where if you're not playing it competitively, it does seem very relaxed and just a good way to be outside.
Yeah. It just depends how you want to play. I mean, if you want to take it seriously, obviously, then it's not going to be quite so relaxed. It's going to be quite intense, I think. I don't know. As I say, I've never played for competition, so I literally just go out and have a chill out. I've been around the course on my own before, just to go and get out of the house and do something. And yeah, it's just another way to relax rather than just kicking your feet up at home, whatever. You just get some exercise in as well.
That first round that you played with the right-handed clubs, did you use them left-handed?
No. I had to play right-handed.
Oh, that must have been a
horrendous.
baptism of fire into golf.
My only concern was, the thing for me was, hit the first tee clean and don't worry about the rest, because everybody stood there watching you, and it's like, just don't miss it or something. Just hit the first one, get it like 100 yards, and that's happy day. And yeah, I managed to get a clean hit on the first one. I concentrated so hard, I managed to get a clean hit on it. And then I think we went round in about 150 or something crazy. So.
Did he lose many balls with the right-handed clubs?
I would imagine so. I mean, this is a long time ago, so I can't remember really, but I would have thought so. Yeah, I mean, I think I was stealing other people's balls as well as I was going around. So.
So, did the cricket help with golf? I'm unsure as to whether it would or not, because it's a different grip and it's a different sort of swing. I reckon if you took a golf swing into cricket, you'd probably get out quite quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, it's the sideways motion, or the sideways swinging motion. Your feet are obviously different, but your shoulders are pretty much the same. It's just what you do with your lower arms. I mean, cricket, obviously, you bend your foot, bend your elbows. Golf, you don't do that. Golf, you keep your forearms straight, your front arm straight. So yeah, it can be similar in some respects, but you're right. Yeah, a lot of it is quite different.
I've got a few sort of final questions before we wrap up. I've enjoyed this. It's been a good chat, nice little cricket chat in the middle.
Yeah.
What have you? If you could pick a couple of moments, would you say you've got a high and a low moment in sport, and we'll say particularly transplant related sport?
Oh wow. High would be scoring my first 50 from personal point of view, or playing the Aussies. Aussies was amazing actually. I'll go with the Aussies.
Must be a good day.
That was quality. I have got another good memory actually from when I hit the day I hit a 50 was we played the Welsh disability side, and I can't remember who it was. One of our guys was caught on the boundary one-handed by a lad. He only had one arm, and he's just ran around the boundary and just plucked this catch. He was only a young lad as well. He's literally legged it around the boundary and he's plucked this catch with one hand. And I just stood there like, wow, fair play to you. That was amazing. That was interesting as well, playing the disability side. It's really, really makes you think a lot about life and things like that. It's quite
Yeah,
strange.
absolutely.
Really
I played
strange how
that
it makes you think.
myself, and it is interesting to watch them. Like I played against a disability team for my club, and there was one. He had one arm, but he attached. I think he had a prosthetic arm attached to his elbow as he normally would, and then the hand connected. It connected to an extended handle on the bat.
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah,
his top arm was missing. It was connected to the bat, and his bottom hand was he could take on and off the bat. But the first time he did this a few times in the game that we played, and the first time I saw it, it was unbelievable. Everybody just went, "Wow, we didn't expect that."
yeah.
He pulled off the prosthetic arm, grabbed the bat by the extended handle on top that was connected to the arm and the bat, and just played a reverse sweep with it.
Oh wow, fair play. That's quality. That's brilliant.
It's unbelievable.
A low moment you want, don't you?
If you got one, if there is one.
Yeah, we played my old club, Hambrook. We played against them. They gave us a bit of a thumping, if I remember. I can't even remember the scores, to be fair. But my brother thought he'd wind it up a bit and come hurling in and clean me up first or second ball. It was like, well, see you later then. To be fair, I did try and murder him. It was that sibling rivalry, and it was like I did try and murder him, like up onto the M4. But yeah, it was a bit. Yeah, that was a bit of a downer. And lived that down for a long time.
Clear the front leg and clean bowled.
That's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened.
You get some stick going off.
Oh, I got stick going on, going off in the club after. I still get it now. It's like, yeah, that's my brother for you.
Lee, it's been a pleasure to chat to you about all your sports and your transplant. Again, as I've said with everyone who's been on, I'm learning something in each one that I do, and I hope the people listening are too. Final question for you. What's one piece of advice you'd give to someone facing a transplant?
Wow. I think I got a friend in this situation who I'm going to see in a minute. So if there's things on your mind, talk about it. I found that
Absolutely, yeah.
the biggest one for me, and post transplant as well. After, I find that the hardest to talk, and I kind of asked myself a lot of questions. Why me? Why did somebody have to die for me to have a better quality of life? Things like that. And if you need to talk to somebody. It's quite a hard one to get your head around on your own. And if you have somebody who's been there and been through it, and you want someone to talk to, then talk to them, because I know 100% of the people I know in the transplant world would be more than happy to talk about it, share their stories and things like that. So
Absolutely. I think it's so important to talk. And if you do know anyone, just send, as you say, send them a message, and the majority of, if not all, will be more than happy to talk through it with you.
yeah, definitely. And that's why I found the transplant cricket so good. There's a lot of things on my mind, and found people easy to talk to there because they understood. Whereas people who've not been through that and aren't going to go through that don't understand generally what you're referring to and how it affects your mind.
Absolutely. I think it is a very it's a difficult thing to go through, and it's something that it's easier to relate to people who've been through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what you said you're doing tonight with your friend, all the best for him. I hope it goes well for him in the future.
Cheers. I'll pass it on.
And thank you very much for coming on, talking through your experiences. I'm sure it'll have been very useful. So there we go. Thank you very much to my guest today, Lee Dyer. I've been Lewis Daniels, and you've been listening to Transplants Take On Sport.